Gridlock has always been one of the most underrated, underused, and underappreciated operators in Siege's history, and no one really knows when to use her, how to use her, and the strategies you can actually really use when using her, because she can be really strong without you knowing. She's really good post plant, she's really good for setting up attacks, and I'm going to demonstrate all the different ways of playing her in this video. So make sure you watch to the end and let me know if you've learned anything new about Gridlock. So to kick this video off, the first thing I'm going to talk about with Gridlock is her loadout. Now when you go to select her, you'll have the choice between the M249 saw, which we'll get into in a second, or the F90. Now I think her loadout for Gridlock is severely underrated. The F90 has next to no recoil, it's very manageable, so no matter how good or not good you are at aiming in Siege, the F90 is going to be easy for you to use. The M249 saw is essentially Capital's LMG, the M249, but it has a magazine reload, so it's quicker instead of like the really long LMG reload that you're typically used to. So I like them both. I tend to usually go for this LMG just because it's my personal preference, plus I got black ice, but that is completely up to you. For a secondary weapon, she has the added utility of having the super shorty shotgun. Having a shotgun as a secondary option is the second best thing you can have other than an SMG. So she doesn't have an SMG, but she has a shotgun which is superiorly better than the pistol, which you're basically never gonna want to bring. Now as for your gadget, you get the choice between smoke grenades, frag grenades, or impact EMP grenades, which again, all three are really good depending on your play style. So if you're playing with a group of people, you want to go for like a concealed plant, smoke grenades are good. Maybe you have a duo who's playing Glaz, smoke grenades are gonna be good. Or if you're gonna play more aggressive, you know you're on a map where they like to sit in corners which are hard to flush them out, frag grenades. Or if you are playing on a map where, you know, Thatcher's banned, it's one of those later stages in, you know, a ranked match, you can bring impact EMPs to help get those walls open. And that versatility on one operator is ridiculous. And obviously with her gadget, which we'll get into in a second, yeah, it's really good. You can basically do it all. So as I was saying about Gridlock's LMG, this is how quick the reload is. Insane, but you still get 61 bullets. Now it does have a little bit of kick, like most LMGs in the game do, but as long as you're like not spraying 61 bullets at a time and you're taking gunfights, it's very manageable. And I'm using mouse and keyboard right now, as you can see. I'm not a mouse and keyboard player, so my aim, my recoil control is usually pretty dog. Now with the loadout and stuff out of the way, let's get into tip number one. And tip number one is going to be how you use the gadget. Now as you can see, if you have the projectile throw lines on, you can see where it's going to bounce, where it's going to land, and you can throw it from a pretty safe distance and get it exactly where you want it to go. Now the added benefit with Gridlock is that you can always open up soft parts of the wall like this, and you can throw in your track stingers like this before pushing in. And that is something that you don't really see other than in like high ranks executed like pushes and that kind of thing. There is some on the other side of this wall, which leads on to another useful thing about this shotgun. If you know someone's going to be playing really close by, normally it does more damage than that. So if you were playing in this area of the map and these walls were reinforced, you could always just shoot out a little spot in here. If you know there's someone playing in there, just throw your little Gridlock gadget in there, and it's going to be a massive pain in the ass for them. It's going to cut off that part of the map. Now the best way to play Gridlock is probably by cutting off rotating lines. Now if you're a defender, think about it, right? If you're playing in this area of the map, ignoring this, and you know someone is pushing from this direction, what rotates are you going to hit? Now, majority of you are going to, you know, swing this, peek this consistently, but I think everyone knows that normally this wall here is open. So from a defending point of view, you're going to swing this, try challenge it, and when you go for that rotate, you're going to come around this way and probably re-engage the angle from here. Now, what you can do as Gridlock to kind of stop this is just literally throw it in there. So now, even if they rotate round, they're not going to be able to like swing this or push out of here. without shooting it and giving away the fact that they've rotated that direction. So once you throw it there, you can probably throw another one like here, for example, maybe even throw one a little bit deeper as well, like all the way back here. So 1, 2, 3 track stingers, and then that should hopefully give you the cover and the audio disguise, because these things are quite loud as well when they're deploying, to maybe run in, engage a gunfight here, or even just sneak in here and start planting on the floor like this. Now, another thing I'd like to point out before we get back into the video is they've actually recently changed the way that Gridlock's gadget works. Now, I'm not going to be able to demonstrate this for you entirely in this one video, but essentially what they've changed is when a defender stands on these tracks now, not only is it going to deal damage, but it's going to add that brand new effect, same as like Frost has, for example. So you're going to get that bleeding effect, you're not going to be able to sprint, and on top of that, it's going to last a long time, and it's going to be a massive pain in the ass for the defenders. So even if they just step on it by accident, it's going to slow them down, make them, unable to sprint, and you'll be able to see a blood trail of where they are going. And I think that little change is actually going to make Gridlock a lot better in this current meta, and I think it's actually going to make a pretty big difference. Now, the next tip I want to give as Gridlock actually comes in arguably her strongest way of playing, and that is post plant. Now, if you find yourself in a situation like this where a thermite's breached the wall, you've managed to get onto the bomb site and you've planted successfully, what you can then do is, if you have Gridlocks in your back pocket, you can surround the diffuser with these Gridlock gadgets like this. You can throw them down, and once they've all fully deployed, if you can imagine being a defender, let's say you were roaming somewhere like a vigil, because vigils are always guilty of this. If you As I was saying before rudely getting interrupted there, if you can imagine being a vigil and returning to site, and the bomb's planted and you've got limited time, you're under pressure, you're stressing, and you need to get that bomb defused, there might be just a Gridlock left, but there could be 2 or 3 opponents. Now, if you come out here, immediately, first thing I noticed, you're going to struggle even to get into that bomb site. So if you don't know where the diffuser is, immediately struggling to get there. But when you come here, this makes it so much harder for the defender to get through this way, unless this is obviously unreinforced. They might be able to open up, go through that way. But this makes this whole area of the map awful for the defender to return to. The only way is maybe by throwing like an impact grenade. Let's pretend this is an impact grenade. You're going to destroy a lot of it, yes. You might even be able to shoot the rest like this and get rid of them. But even after doing that, you have to worry about maybe someone taking a gunfight here, maybe someone being here, because they know where you are now. And even then, you're going to come here, there's going to be angles here, there's still a bunch of Gridlock traps around, and you have to somehow find the diffuser, defuse while worrying about that. So that is why Gridlock is so strong post plant, because you can literally just overwhelm the entire bomb site with your gadgets and completely ruin the defender's day. Now, I briefly mentioned this earlier, but Gridlock's gadgets are very loud. If you throw them down, they are extremely loud in the ear, and you can use this to your advantage. So let's just say you were on this window here and you want to enter through this way, right? What you can do is you can prep this window or even open it fully. And what you can do is you can just throw a few gadgets in just like this. It doesn't even matter where they land, but you can use the sound of it to mask your entrance. Now, obviously, the defenders are going to see you throw it here and maybe expect you to come through that way, but they're not going to know the exact time you're going to do that, and that masks a lot of that repelling audio cue which plays, which is very loud, by the way. If someone repels on a window, you'll be able to hear it all the way from over there, probably all the way on this bomb site, to be completely honest. You'll probably be able to hear them repel in and make that loud ass thud, especially if you're a Gridlock, because she's the heaviest operator, as we know. Now, the next way you can use Gridlock to your advantage is actually by going over here and obviously selecting smoke grenades instead of frags, for example. Now, we talked about it in the intro there when picking your loadout, but smoke grenades are really good on Gridlock for many reasons. One of them, again, being you can use the audio cue of your gadget deploying to mask that. You can use the smoke grenades at the same time, and while it's completely cut off, you can plant the bomb here. They're not going to be able to hear you or see you plant. And by the time this all wears off, you're going to have got the diffuser down and be able to retreat, especially if someone is helping you and watching your back while you plant the diffuser. And that again is another strategy you can use when playing Gridlock, which makes her extremely strong. Now with that being said, there's not really anything else that I can think of off the top of my head that isn't completely basic common knowledge. So I'm gonna leave the video there. If you found this video at least interesting, if not helpful, then let me know by dropping a like and comment down below which operator do you want to see next. I can do this with other operators, ways of playing them, tips when playing them, different strategies and stuff that you can use when playing operators. But that's been it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later.